It doesn't matter.
Am I lying? It do matter! It does matter! It does matter!
Are you yelling that you just said,
You might think you know what happened to Kanye West, but most people have no idea just how dark this rabbit hole really gets. There is a chain of coincidences that paints a very scary picture of the world these celebrities live in. And as with most insane stories, this one also begins with an Ellen DeGeneres interview from May 2016. An interview where Kanye seemed different and even said some things that disturbed Ellen.
Just my mom and my dad, like, pushing the confidence and just, knowing that people have to be themselves and we have to fight. We're creating new shapes in the world every day, and we're under attack constantly by conventional opinion, and somebody's got to just plant both of their feet and say, nah, that people can be who they are.
Don't tell me about being likable. We got 100 years here. We're one race, the human race, one civilization. We're a blip in the existence of the universe, and we constantly trying to pull each other down, not doing things to help each other. That's my point. It's like I'm shaking talking about, I know it's daytime TV, but I feel that I can make a difference while I'm here.
And this was not a one-time thing. Fast forward to November. Kanye stopped mid-concert and said this.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why? Because y'all been lied to. Google lied to you. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you. Radio.
Some people think this was the point. They think Kanye went too far here and exposed too much. Because 2 days later, Kanye abruptly canceled his St. Pablo tour, and on the same day, he was at his trainer, Harley Pasternak's home. Something happened, and Harley called a doctor and then 911. That was the first time Kanye West was institutionalized, and he remained in the hospital for 9 days.
We start this half hour with word that Kanye West is waking up in a Los Angeles hospital where he's now under observation, reportedly for exhaustion and stress. This on the heels of a bizarre and abrupt end to a concert over the weekend.
When he came back, people noticed that he was once again the superstar who knew his limits, who didn't go too far. But people think it all fell apart after his divorce from Kim Kardashian. Because in October 2022, Kanye sat down with Tucker Carlson and once again called out some people.
Compress him. Like, my dad is the most brilliant person that I know, and we actually have a strained relationship because I was taken from him because my mom was an actress, so she was a liberal, and my dad would see certain things and say, we should do it this way, we should do it that way, and the people got around my mom and pulled her away, much like, Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview magazine and put her ass out while she's a 40-something-year-old multi-billionaire with 4 black children. And this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present her. And then after talking to them and really sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back and being very much a handler. Right then, they love to just look at me or look at Trump like we're so crazy and that they're the businessmen.
Of course, the interview went viral and people could not stop talking about what Kanye was saying. But then, at the start of November, Kanye released messages from his trainer, Harley Pasternak. Messages that painted a very strange picture of their relationship.
So, let me read these Harley texts. This is how he was ready. This is a trainer, but come to find out, he was actually Canadian intelligence, but this is my trainer. So this shows you the kind of handlers that are around the superstars in California, right? So it says, I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. This is the way a Hollywood trainer was talking to me to force me to go and apologize.
A month after these messages, Kanye appeared on Alex Jones's show. But people also point out that the only major media figure who talked about these text messages was Tucker Carlson.
Then West posted something remarkable on Twitter, which for some reason virtually all of American media ignored, which is odd because media outlets are not usually in the business of ignoring remarkable things, but they did. And what he posted was a picture of a text exchange that he had had with Harley Pasternak. Pasternak was explaining that West had better stop saying, quote, crazy stuff. In other words, he'd better get back on script, or else he would be severely punished. Quote, second option, if you don't shut up, quote, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. End quote. Try if you can to imagine a more sinister threat than that, a more chilling threat than that. Do what I say or I will turn your brain to mush.
People are now pointing out how Tucker was fired by Fox just a few months later. And they also can't help but notice some other strange things about Harley Pasternak, like how Ariana Grande introduced him to her then boyfriend, Mac Miller, the artist who died in 2018 due to an accidental overdose, and who died only 45 minutes before he was scheduled for a workout with Harley Pasternak, who shared this information in an interview. But this doesn't end here. You might remember actress Brittany Murphy. Well, she also died under mysterious circumstances in 2009. Her husband, Simon Monjack, came under the spotlight for the way he allegedly treated his wife before her death. Well, the crazy part is Harley Pasternak wasn't just training Monjack, but also training Brittany Murphy. In fact, he even talked to journalists about how she seemed off when her husband was around. People online just cannot imagine how one guy can be involved in so many things. And we haven't even talked about his military career yet.
And I was working on my PhD on exercise physiology and nutrition, got recruited by the military to help run essentially the superhuman lab, this laboratory called the Defense and Civil Institute of Environmental Medicine.
Right.
It was incredible under Dr. Ira Jacobs, who in the world of exercise physiology, he's one of the most respected people ever.
Right.
He coined the term OBLA, onset of blood lactate levels. And so I was lucky enough to have him as my graduate advisor. And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance. And
When you say drugs, was that like performance enhancing drugs, or are they
all
just
kinds of drugs?
Oh, right. Okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was. So I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things. So we looked at a drug called modafinil, which was for narcoleptics. So if you give a soldier this drug, how long could they stay awake for?
So you can see there are just too many strange coincidences. And all of this makes people believe that Kanye's downfall might not have been so random after all. But moving on, I want to ask a question that's been bugging me. Where the hell are all those people who were on that boat? You know, the boat with the hantavirus outbreak. Where are all the passengers?
because this one scares the shit out of me. Because the fear of, we talked about this yesterday with Roger Avery, the fear of these like literally demonic human beings that are running the world and don't give a fuck about human lives and enjoy watching people being tortured, enjoy watching people killed, participating in ritual sacrifice of people, and they do it in order to show that you're a part of a team and we know that has always historically been a real thing, and it's been something that you look at in history, you go, God, it's so sick, it's so twisted, it's so disgusting, and everybody wants to think, thank God that's not happening now. But then when you realize, like, that might have been happening.
People are saying Joe Rogan was not lying when he said this. They believe he's afraid of certain things, and that's why he has never invited David Icke to his show.
Joe Rogan, who you think would have me on, given the range of things I talk about, never had me on, won't have me on. And he takes the piss out of the fact I'm talking about the reptilians. He had a bloke who's just been around not very long called Ian Carroll on recently, talking about the stuff, the same stuff going round. And they were kind of having a laugh about me and the reptilians. And yet, just a few weeks earlier, he'd had two insider whistleblowers on from military projects saying that of all the alien groups that they had been researching and were kind of, they were people that were researching in the military unidentified flying objects. They call them something else now. And he was saying that you can talk about, to an extent, any of these things like the Greys, but you don't talk about the reptilians. That's shut off immediately.
Why?
Well, because they're running the show. The what we call the Greys are basically like almost like AI gophers, really. The reptilians are running the show.
Well, the other third type that got mentioned on Mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the line. Shut up, don't say that, is what they were doing.
They don't want to talk about the reptilians.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites and the Greys being in the lab environments. Not a lot, but some. But these reptilians, it was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Was there any sort of an explanation that anybody give you of why they don't want to talk about it?
No. The only time I got any inkling was that when I, was out of the program and other people started to talk to me about all the different, things. And they're like, well, how many races are there? I don't know. But some people talked about the reptilians. They're like, do you realize that these are evil?